Ever miss the Big Bang Theory's cozy laughs? Let's reunite with Sheldon, Leonard, Penny, and the gang over a decade since they first lit up our screens. Like I Love Lucy or Friends in the 60s to 90s, this show felt like family. Join us to explore where the cast is now, triumphs, challenges, and all paired with their birth details. For 12 years, The Big Bang Theory was our weekly joy, like MASH * or Cheers. When it ended in 2019, the cast's real adventures began. Who was your favorite? Penny, share a memory below. Let's dive into their stories, then and now. Let's begin with Kaley Cuoco, our radiant Penny, the neighbor who brightened Pasadena with her smile. In 2007, when The Big Bang Theory premiered, Kaley was no stranger to TV, having charmed us as Bridget in 8 Simple Rules. Doesn't her bubbly energy remind you of Goldie Hawn in Laugh-In? When the show ended, Kaley faced a choice: fade into sitcom history or forge a new legacy. Like Mary Tyler Moore post The Dick Van Dyke Show, she chose courage. Kaley launched Norman Productions and dove into bold projects. Her role as Cassie Bowden in The Flight Attendant, 2020, was a departure from Penny, a complex, troubled character reminiscent of L.A. Law's dramatic leads. Her Emmy and Golden Globe nominations proved her depth. Did you see Kaley in this role? How did it compare to Penny for you? Share below. She also voiced Harley Quinn in a 2019 animated series, echoing Batman, the animated series' 90s vibe, and starred in Meet Cute, 2022, and a 2023 true crime comedy. Now, she's set to play Doris Day in a biographical series, a role that feels like a nod to Calamity Jane. Kaley studied Doris's films at the Paley Center, immersing herself in classics to capture that golden era magic, a true tribute to Hollywood's past. Kaley's path wasn't always smooth. She feared never topping The Big Bang Theory's success, a sentiment shared by stars like Lucille Ball after I Love Lucy. Behind the scenes, she navigated cast pay cuts in 2017 and the shock of Jim Parsons' 2018 exit, which ended the show. She disagreed with Penny's surprise pregnancy in the finale, feeling it strayed from her arc. Do you recall that ending? Did it feel right for Penny? Let's hear your thoughts.
The movie you just did,
ended in Germany. I shot it in Germany. It landed in Germany, and then we found it a week later. It was wild. Also, we shot in Berlin, and they don't have Taco Bell in all of Germany. All they kept thinking was this girl keeps asking for taco.
Next, we have Jim Parsons, our unforgettable Sheldon Cooper, whose quirks rivaled Robin Williams in Mork and Mindy. Jim's 4 Emmys and Golden Globes cemented his place in TV history. Earning $1 million per episode, he was a titan, like Seinfeld's cast in the 90s. Yet, in 2018, he declined a $50 million deal to continue, choosing to explore new horizons, much like James Garner leaving The Rockford Files. Jim remained tied to young Sheldon as producer and narrator until 2024, similar to Ron Howard's Arrested Development role. He starred in Hollywood, 2020, as a ruthless agent, evoking Robert Duvall's intensity, and moved us in Spoiler Alert, 2022. In 2024, he played the stage manager in Broadway's Our Town, a role that recalls the theater magic of Radio City Music Hall. Unique detail, inspired by Broadway, Jim began mentoring young actors in 2024, sharing tales of his early struggles, a gesture worthy of Frank Capra's Heroes. Through That's Wonderful Productions, Jim champions diverse stories, like Norman Lear with All in the Family. Married to Todd Spiewak since 2017, he lives grounded in creativity. Will we see Sheldon again, or do you love Jim's new roles? Share a Sheldon moment that still makes you smile.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm happy that you're...
Realized it had anything to do with weather, and I'm not sure it does. Media window and saw the shade happening or whatever, but I did get into don't know if it actually happened.
I was afraid
I do it.
I was afraid it was going to turn into...
Simon Helberg embodied Howard Wolowitz, the Big Bang Theory's bold engineer with astronaut dreams and a retro flair, reminiscent of a young Tom Hanks in Big. His tight pants and vibrant belt buckles became iconic. Since the show's 2019 finale, Simon has transcended his sitcom roots, embracing roles as dynamic as Hollywood's golden age stars. Post-Big Bang, Simon's career flourished. In Annette, 2021, he portrayed a soulful pianist, becoming a French citizen to support the film's vision, a move evoking Cinema Paradiso's passion. His Golden Globe-nominated performance in Florence Foster Jenkins, 2016, and a poker face guest role highlighted his versatility, blending humor and depth. Off-screen, Simon's life is grounded. Married to Jocelyn Town since 2007, he's a dedicated father of two, mirroring Paul Newman's family values. Open about his OCD and anxiety, he advocates for mental health. Surprisingly, Kevin Sussman was initially cast as Howard but stepped away, handing Simon his life-changing role. Born December 9, 1980, in Los Angeles, Simon Helberg's path from quirky Howard to multifaceted star inspires, proving life's best roles often come unexpectedly.
Let me hear that, because you even look like Nick Cage.
Nick Cage, you know, it's a pleasure to be here, Larry. Actually made of alpaca fur. You know, they go great rare, but, you know.
Johnny Galecki, beloved as the shy, endearing Leonard Hofstadter in The Big Bang Theory, won hearts with a charm reminiscent of Michael J. Fox in Family Ties. His nerdy physicist, navigating love and friendship, became a sitcom staple. Since the show's 2019 finale, Johnny has embraced a quieter, more grounded life, stepping away from the Hollywood spotlight while still leaving his mark on the industry. Post-Big Bang, Johnny returned to his roots, reprising David Healy in The Conners, a role that echoed his early days on Roseanne. He also co-created A-OK, a nostalgic 90s set sitcom, showcasing his passion for storytelling. Settled in Nashville with his wife, Morgan, and their children, Johnny's life mirrors the wholesome simplicity of the Waltons. Despite a 2011 diagnosis of Bell's palsy, he persevered, maintaining his career with resilience. In 2018, his vocal support for gun control stirred debate, drawing parallels to Jane Fonda's bold activism as he used his platform to advocate for change. From Leonard's awkward romance with Penny to his real-life triumphs, Johnny's journey reflects heart and determination. Born April 30, 1975, in Brie, Belgium, Johnny Galecki's shift from sitcom star to family man and creator inspires, blending nostalgia with purpose. Kunal Nayyar, cherished as the lovable Raj Kuthrapalli in The Big Bang Theory, evolved from a shy astrophysicist to a dynamic performer, mirroring John Travolta's breakout energy in Saturday Night Fever. Raj's selective mutism and heartfelt journey endeared him to fans. Since the show's 2019 end, Kunal has embraced bold, diverse roles, showcasing his range beyond sitcom comedy. After Big Bang, Kunal's career took a thrilling turn. His chilling performance in Criminal UK, 2020, earned a BAFTA nomination, proving his dramatic depth. He starred in Suspicion, 2022, a tense thriller, and in 2024, joined the Night Court revival, bringing his signature charm. Kunal's upcoming role as Scrooge in Christmas Karma, a Bollywood musical, promises to dazzle. His voice work in the Trolls franchise echoes the heartwarming spirit of The Lion King. Off-screen, Kunal's 2015 memoir, Yes, My Accent is Real, offers an intimate look at his life, blending humor and vulnerability. Married to Neha Kapoor since 2011, he lives with quiet confidence. Born April 30, 1981, in London, England, Kunal Nayyar's transformation from Raj to multifaceted star inspires. Raj's breakthrough in speaking to women was a triumphant moment, pure joy for fans. Melissa Rauch, adored as Bernadette Rostenkowski-Wolowitz in The Big Bang Theory, brought a fiery, high-pitched charm to the microbiologist, echoing Roseanne Barr's bold comedic roots. A stand-up comic before the show, her sharp wit made Bernadette unforgettable. Since the 2019 finale, Melissa has carved a vibrant path, blending acting, producing, and advocacy with the grit of a Hollywood pioneer. After Big Bang, Melissa's versatility shone. She fought for and starred in The Bronze, 2015, showing determination like Sally Field and Norma Ray. In 2017, she voiced Harley Quinn in Batman and Harley Quinn, adding her unique spark. By 2023, she led the Night Court revival as Judge Abby Stone, cementing her star power. Married to Winston Beigel since 2007, they have 2 children and run January Productions, crafting meaningful projects. Her work with Oscar's Kids, a pediatric cancer charity, mirrors Audrey Hepburn's compassion. Which classic TV Spitfire does Bernadette remind you of, Lucy Ricardo or Roseanne Connor? Share your thoughts. Born June 23, 1980, in Marlborough, New Jersey, Melissa Rauch's rise from sitcom star to multifaceted talent inspires. Her fierce, funny spirit keeps Bernadette's legacy alive. Mayim Bialik, beloved as Amy Farrah Fowler in The Big Bang Theory, infused the quirky neurobiologist with charm, echoing her vibrant teen role as Blossom Russo, famed for funky hats. A child star turned scholar, she earned a PhD in neuroscience before Big Bang, where Amy's awkward brilliance garnered 4 Emmy nods. Since the 2019 finale, Mayim has thrived in diverse roles, blending acting, directing, and advocacy with a curiosity akin to Carl Sagan. After Big Bang, she starred in Call Me Kat, 2021 to 2023, debuted as a director with As They Made Us, 2022, and co-hosted Jeopardy! 2021 to 2023, winning fans with her wit. Her science books, like Girling Up, and Mayim's Vegan Table inspire STEM and wellness, while her Breakdown podcast tackles mental health. Despite a controversial 2017 op-ed on Hollywood culture, her STEM advocacy shines, uplifting young minds. Which Amy quirk, her harp-playing or blunt humor, still sparks joy? Share below. Born December 12, 1975, in San Diego, California, Mayim Bialik's path from sitcom star to scientist and storyteller embodies resilience, keeping Amy's nerdy spirit vibrant. Kevin Sussman, cherished as Stuart Bloom in The Big Bang Theory, brought heart to the comic book store owner, a role that mirrored his own pre-fame job at a New York comic shop, a story as nostalgic as the Wonder Years. Stuart's shy, artistic soul endeared him to fans. Since the show's 2019 end, Kevin has showcased his talent in acclaimed dramas, proving his range beyond sitcom comedy. Post-Big Bang, Kevin shone in Better Call Saul, 2020 to 2022, delivering nuanced performances, and played a key role in The Dropout, 2022, earning praise akin to Ed Asner's dramatic turn in Lou Grant. His writing collaborations with Big Bang co-star John Ross Bowie on projects like Speechless highlight his creative depth. During the 2023 SAG-AFTRA strike, Kevin's vocal support for fair wages echoed the labor battles of the 1980s writers' strikes, reflecting his commitment to the industry. Married to Addie Hall since 2023, he balances artistry with a grounded personal life. Which Stuart moment, his awkward charm or rare victories, captured your heart? Share a favorite comic book store memory below. Born December 4, 1970, in Staten Island, New York, Kevin Sussman's journey from comic shop clerk to versatile actor inspires, keeping Stuart's underdog spirit alive. Friends, what a joy to revisit these stars, born between 1970 and 1986, who brought The Big Bang Theory to life. Their journeys echo Hollywood's golden age, when TV united us. From Kaley's Doris Day role to Jim's Broadway mentorship, they carry that classic spirit. What's your favorite Big Bang memory? Leave a comment, share this with a friend, and subscribe for more heartwarming tales. Thank you for joining me. Let's keep those TV nights alive. Dear friends, let's go back to the late 80s, the time of exciting and emotional action movies. Roadhouse, 1989, starring Patrick Swayze, Sam Elliott, Kelly Lynch, and Ben Gazzara, was more than just an action movie, it was a part of our youth. Today, we will look back at the stars of Roadhouse, from their memorable roles to their current lives in 2025. Let us take you back to those passionate nights in front of the screen, where the lights of Double Deuce still shine in our hearts. Do you remember James Dalton, the calm yet powerful bodyguard in Roadhouse? Patrick Swayze, with his warm smile and strong appearance, turned Dalton into an action icon of the 80s. At the age of 37, when he acted in the film, he brought the image of a man who combined life philosophy with decisive punches. His line "Pain don't hurt" is still remembered by many people. Have you ever loved that calm demeanor? Before that, Patrick was famous for Dirty Dancing, 1987, and the role of Dalton affirmed his position as a true hero. After Roadhouse, he continued to make his mark with Ghost, 1990, and Point Break, 1991. Patrick is not only an actor, he is also a dancer and a musician, always bringing his artistic soul to each role. He once shared that Dalton is a way to express strength but control. Patrick passed away in 2009 at the age of 57 from pancreatic cancer, leaving behind a huge void. But Dalton's image still lives on in the hearts of audiences as a beautiful part of their youth. Which Dalton scene do you remember the most? Which Patrick movie moved you? Patrick did most of his own stunts, even broke his ribs, but still persevered to complete the role.
Do not have that ability. I'd also be worried you get on an escalator and then Patrick Swayze is torn into the
Tie yourself up for certain reasons. So
You know, I'm
intimidating because
oh, Martha, he's gonna dance.
So
Dr. Elizabeth Clay, the intelligent and gentle female doctor, is a peaceful light amid the violence in Roadhouse. Kelly Lynch, 30 years old when she played the role, brought Elizabeth charm and depth. I still remember the scene where she concentrated on Dalton's wound, her eyes full of worry but warmth. Have you ever wished to meet someone like Elizabeth in real life? At that time, Kelly was a model turned actress who had attracted attention in Cocktail, 1988. The role of Elizabeth was a turning point, helping her affirm her name in the action drama genre. After Roadhouse, she shined in Drugstore Cowboy, 1989, earning an Independent Spirit nomination, and appeared in Charlie's Angels, 2000. Kelly once shared that working with Patrick Swayze was a memorable memory because he always respected everyone on set. Now, at the age of 66, Kelly still maintains her elegance and passion for art. She appeared in Mr. Mercedes, 2017 to 2019, and has been in recent independent films. In addition to acting, Kelly loves painting and photography. Although she is no longer a box office star, she lives on in our Hollywood memories. Do you remember the look between Elizabeth and Dalton? Which Kelly role leaves an impression on you? Kelly once kept a jacket from the film as a memento of her passionate days.
After Roadhouse, I went right into Drugstore Cowboy. It was like such a funny...
Roadhouse.
It was fantastic. I mean, it was one of the best times I've ever been to do everything. And I watched Patrick work so carefully on...
Can you explain the genesis of this story and how often it happens?
Well, it started...
Wade Garrett, the deep-voiced, silver-haired veteran bodyguard, is the soul of Roadhouse. Sam Elliott, who was 44 when he starred in the film, made Wade a symbol of experience. I still remember the scene where he walked into Double Deuce like an old knight in the middle of a storm. Have you ever admired Wade's composure? Back then, Sam was already a star with Mask, 1985, and The Sackets, 1979. The role of Wade was an opportunity for him to show off his distinctive voice and cowboy style. After Roadhouse, he continued with Tombstone, 1993, The Big Lebowski, 1998, and A Star is Born, 2018, earning him an Oscar nomination. Sam has said that he loves playing Wade because he feels like an old friend he met in Texas. At 80, Sam is still a Hollywood icon. He appeared in The Ranch, 2016 to 2020, and lent his voice to Family Guy. With his silver hair and gentle smile, Sam still captivates audiences. He is proof that age only adds to his charm. Do you remember any of Wade's lines? Which of Sam Elliott's movies is your favorite? Sam once suggested adding a scene where Wade talks about his days as a bodyguard to add depth to the character, although that scene was not kept.
Many times, and it's so hard to answer. To have been in some decent films along the road, things that stand out about all of them. I think if that makes any sense, and I don't think it'll.
Brad Wesley, the tycoon who has taken over the town of Jasper, is one of the most memorable villains in Roadhouse. Ben Gazzara, who was 58 when he played the role, brought a mixture of elegance and ruthlessness to Wesley. I still remember his cold gaze when confronting Dalton, both arrogant and menacing. Did you ever feel that Wesley was a truly dangerous enemy? Before Roadhouse, Ben was a familiar face in John Cassavetes' works such as Husbands, 1970, and The Killing of a Chinese Bookie, 1976. The role of Wesley showed that Ben could also shine in commercial films without losing his acting depth. He then appeared in The Big Lebowski, 1998, Dogville, 2003, and many international films such as Ristabana, 2011, always with his signature style. Ben passed away in 2012 at the age of 81 due to pancreatic cancer. Despite his passing, he is still remembered as a true artist, not afraid of challenges, always leaving a deep impression with each role. What moment do you remember that made Wesley an unforgettable villain? What other roles by Ben Gazzara have impressed you? Ben used to wear a real ring when playing Wesley. He believed that the item helped him naturally portray a powerful and wealthy person.
Come si deve comportare, perché improvvisando, giocando con la materia, sembrava che loro scrivevano le battute quando ricordo. Ma ci sono tanti. Il primo film,
Jimmy Reno, Brad Wesley's loyal and brutal henchman, was one of the most memorable antagonists in Roadhouse. Marshall Teague, then 36, brought a fierce and unpredictable viciousness to Jimmy. His hand-to-hand fight with Dalton on the riverbank remains one of the film's most memorable action scenes. Do you remember that breathtaking moment? Before Roadhouse, Marshall was a martial artist and television actor with a supporting role in The Rockford Files. But it was his role as Jimmy that made him more widely known in the action genre. He went on to appear in Walker, Texas Ranger, and Babylon 5, often playing soldiers, gunmen, or powerful villains. In 2025, at the age of 71, Marshall is still active in the arts. He often appears in independent films and fan events. In addition, Marshall also maintains a healthy lifestyle, regularly practicing martial arts, which helps him maintain his form over time. He once shared that Patrick Swayze is not only a colleague but also a great inspiration. Which fight scene of Jimmy's do you like the most? And what role of Marshall Teague impressed you? Marshall choreographed many of the action scenes in the fight with Dalton himself, relying on his real martial arts experience to add authenticity to the scene. Frank Tillman, the determined owner of the Double Deuce Bar, is the character who brings hope to the town of Jasper and is also the one who brought Dalton to this place. Kevin Tighe, who was 45 when he joined the film, portrayed a strong and trustworthy Frank. I still remember the scene where Frank handed over the bar to Dalton, like a father entrusting the responsibility to his son. Do you think Frank is an honorable person? Before Roadhouse, Kevin was famous for playing Roy DeSoto in Asterisk Emergency. Asterisk, 1972 to 1977, a character associated with the image of a firefighter. The role of Frank Tillman was a new challenge, showing Kevin's maturity and seriousness. After this film, he continued to participate in outstanding works such as Another 48 HRS, 1990, and What's Eating Gilbert Grape, 1993. At 80, although he has not been in many films, Kevin still appears in some projects and spends time on charity work. He is also a talented storyteller, always bringing vivid stories about 80s Hollywood. Remember Frank Tillman in Roadhouse? Which Kevin Tye role is your favorite? Kevin suggested adding a scene where Frank tells the history of the Double Deuce to highlight the bar, but it was cut from the final version.
I didn't know if you guys had an opportunity to establish that off screen or.
We did know each other before. Yeah. For years.
I met him when he was smaller.
Yeah.
Well, what
Simon and my first movie that we got cast.
And I tried to, kind of.
Denise, the charming but trapped girl in Brad Wesley's world, is one of the memorable highlights in Roadhouse. Julie Michaels, who was only 19 when she filmed the film, portrayed the character of Denise with both sensuality and tragedy. The scene where she dances at the Double Deuce, her eyes both proud and desperate, is memorable to me. Do you feel sorry for Denise's fate? At that time, Julie was a promising young actress and also a stunt woman. The role of Denise was a breakthrough in her career, leading her to projects such as Point Break, 1991, where she continued to work with Patrick Swayze. After Roadhouse, Julie became a famous stunt coordinator, working on major films such as Titanic, 1997, and Pirates of the Caribbean. At 54, Julie is still a staple in the entertainment industry, primarily working as a stunt woman and trainer. She often shares her passion for action scenes and her love of Roadhouse. Julie is proof that women can shine both on stage and behind the scenes. Remember Denise's dance? Which of Julie Michaels' work has impressed you the most? Julie taught herself a special dance for the Double Deuce scene, inspired by 80s dances.
Remember her from Roadhouse, the character Denise, or
I just moved to Los Angeles about 2 weeks prior, and I went to go see it, and I was sitting in the lobby. It sounds like a Hollywood story, but it really is the truth. And I said, really? He goes, yes, go here.
Cody, the talented blind musician at Double Deuce, brought the music to life in Roadhouse. Jeff Healey, who was 23 when he was cast, was not only an actor but also a great performer of blues rock. I still remember the scene where he played the guitar, making the atmosphere of the bar heavy. Have you ever been fascinated by Cody's language guitar? Back then, Jeff Healey was a famous artist with a unique guitar playing style, and the role of Cody marked his first attempt at cinema. He did an excellent job in this role, while also being able to create his musical talent. After Roadhouse, Jeff continued his music career, releasing many beloved albums and receiving a Grammy nomination. Jeff passed away in 2008 at the age of 41 from cancer, but his music, from Angel Eyes to the melodies in Roadhouse, still resonates in the hearts of fans. Jeff has said that playing Cody was a great experience because he got to live in Dalton's world and bring music to life in the fantasy. Do you remember any of Cody's songs? What's your favorite Jeff Healey album? Jeff Healey himself composed a short piece of music for the scene where Dalton enters the bar, but it didn't make it into the final cut of the film. Carrie, the quick-witted and sharp waitress at the Double Deuce, was an integral part of Roadhouse. Kathleen Willoyd, who was 25 when she starred, brought a certain playfulness and personality to Carrie. I remember her witty one-liners that brightened up the bar. Did you find Carrie fun to be around? At the time, Kathleen had already appeared in Murphy's Law, 1986, and was a singer-songwriter. The role of Carrie gave her the opportunity to showcase her charm and freshness in acting. After Roadhouse, Kathleen continued with Lorenzo's Oil, 1992, and ER, 1994 to 2009, while also releasing albums and participating in music projects. At 60, Kathleen still balances acting and music. She often appeared in television series and performed in small clubs. Kathleen always loved Roadhouse and said that playing Carrie reminded her of her youthful, passionate days. Do you remember any of Carrie's lines? Which Kathleen Willoyd role was your favorite? Kathleen once sang a folk song during a break in filming, which inspired some of the extras to compose some fun music.
I have so many great. I think they thought that the role was going to be for two.
We all did. I originally got thrown in there last minute because one of the bad guys needed a girlfriend.
Fights, you do this fake clapping, and I used to do that and walk by Joel Silver.
Dear friends, the journey with the Roadhouse cast takes us back to the 80s with Patrick Swayze, Kelly Lynch, and Jeff Healey. While some have passed, their lights still shine as bright as the Double Deuce. I miss those nights, thrilled by Dalton's punches and Cody's guitar. Do you have any memories of Roadhouse? Thanks for bringing back memories. Play Roadhouse again tonight, with Jack's laugh and Wade's bass leading the way. Hello everyone. Today, let's review Dirty Dancing, 1987, the movie associated with youth and immortal dances. Who can forget Nobody Puts Baby in a Corner or dream of dancing with Johnny Castle? Let's look back at the cast of that year and share where you first saw the movie. 050. Dirty Dancing is a journey of growing up through dance steps. Today, we will review the cast from the glory of the past to the present life. Do you remember how emotional it was when you first heard The Time of My Life? Patrick Swayze, with his charming smile and deep eyes, transformed into Johnny Castle, the dance instructor at Kellerman's, a free spirit held back by social prejudice. Born in Houston, Texas, Patrick was only 35 when he starred in Dirty Dancing. The role of Johnny not only showed off his dancing skills, honed from his ballet days, but also showed strength mixed with tenderness. Who can forget the scene where he lifts Baby in the final dance, or the immortal line, "Nobody puts Baby in a corner"? Dirty Dancing launched Patrick into stardom, followed by Ghost, 1990, and Point Break, 1991. Sadly, Patrick left us in 2009, at the age of 57, after a battle with pancreatic cancer. Though he is no longer here, his legacy lives on through his emotional performances and unforgettable dance moves. He's not just an actor, he's an icon of passion and courage. Unique detail, Patrick once shared that he and Jennifer Grey practiced their final dance hundreds of times in a cold pool to get it perfect, and he kept Johnny's leather jacket as a souvenir from the set. Do you remember any Johnny Castle moments that made your heart flutter? Was it the final dance or the look he gave Baby? Share in the comments.
Swayze, welcome to Hard Talk Extra.
Thank you.
Welcome
It's
to
an
London.
honor. Since I fell in love with the theater when I was young. The book and the songs incredibly seamless, but this is the grittiest, most realistic production that's ever been done.
Jennifer Grey, with her radiant smile and dreamy eyes, transformed into Baby Houseman, a girl who dared to step out of her comfort zone to find love and assert herself. Born in New York, Jennifer was only 27 years old when she participated in Dirty Dancing, 1987. The role of Baby made her an icon of a generation, with her journey from a naive, clumsy girl in her first dance steps to a confident and brilliant performance on stage. Do you remember the times Baby practiced dancing with Johnny, both awkward and determined? After the resounding success of Dirty Dancing, Jennifer also made her mark with Ferris Bueller's Day Off, 1986, but after that her career did not continue to flourish as expected. At the age of 63, Jennifer Grey still maintains a gentle, approachable demeanor. She continued to act in television series such as Red Oaks, 2014 to 2017, and released a memoir, Out of the Corner, 2022, about her journey to overcome difficulties in her career and personal life. Although she no longer appears frequently on screen, Jennifer will always be Baby in the hearts of the audience, who has inspired those who dare to live their truth and pursue their dreams. Have you ever seen yourself in the image of Baby, wanting to break down barriers to find yourself? Which scene of Jennifer Grey in Dirty Dancing moved you the most?
And dated. Well, and got it.
It was really a sign that there was trouble afoot. Wait, talk more about that.
Yeah, you do. I will never forget watching you in Dirty Dancing.
Cynthia Rhodes, with her elegant beauty and excellent dancing skills, brought the image of Penny Johnson, Johnny's close dance partner, who faced harsh challenges in life. Born in Nashville, Tennessee, Cynthia was about 31 years old when she participated in Dirty Dancing, 1987. The role of Penny not only showed off her skillful dancing skills, but also portrayed emotional depth, from the strength on stage to the fragility when going through an incident. Do you remember the scene where Penny patiently taught Baby the first dance steps, or the moment when she was weak and needed help? In addition to Dirty Dancing, Cynthia also stood out in Flashdance, 1983, and Staying Alive, 1983. At the age of 66, Cynthia Rhodes withdrew from the spotlight, choosing family life with her ex-husband, musician Richard Marx, and 3 children. She rarely appears in public, but the image of Penny full of life and emotion still remains in the hearts of fans. Cynthia was a professional dancer before she entered acting, and she performed almost all of her dancing scenes in Dirty Dancing without a stuntman. Were you moved by Penny's story, or captivated by her beautiful performances? Which Cynthia Rhodes moment left a deep impression on you? Jerry Orbach, with his deep voice and kind eyes, transformed into Jake Houseman's Baby's strict but loving father. Born in New York, Jerry was 52 years old when he participated in Dirty Dancing, 1987. The role of Jake not only showed authority but also exuded emotional depth, especially when he realized his mistake and apologized to his daughter in a choked moment. Do you remember the look in his eyes following Baby in The Last Dance, both proud and emotional? Besides Dirty Dancing, Jerry was also known for his illustrious Broadway career before conquering the small screen with the role of Lenny Briscoe in Law and Order, 1992 to 2004. Jerry Orbach left us in 2004 at the age of 69 after a battle with prostate cancer. His departure left a great sadness in the hearts of his fans. Even though he's gone, Jerry's work lives on, from musicals to films and TV series. He embodies a generation of dedicated artists who bring real, emotional characters to audiences. Have you ever been touched by Jake Houseman's immense love for Baby? What Jerry Orbach moments in Dirty Dancing or Law and Order will you never forget?
Law and Order, then it was Law and Order Special Victim.
It was one time at a meeting that we were going to break Gunsmoke.
Sign of success is you guys now have a Law and Order coloring book.
Terrific to me, and I love it when
Kelly Bishop, with her elegant demeanor and sophistication, transformed into Marjorie Houseman, a gentle but also traditional 60s mother in Dirty Dancing, 1987. Born in Colorado Springs, Colorado, Kelly was 43 at the time, and although Marjorie did not take up much screen time, she still left a deep impression. Although not the central character, Marjorie brought the feeling of a gentle mother, but also full of observation and care. The scene where she sat quietly, smiling when Baby confidently stepped onto the dance floor at the end was one of the most touching moments in the film. After Dirty Dancing, Kelly continued to be famous for her role as Emily Gilmore in Gilmore Girls, 2000 to 2007, where she portrayed the image of a strong, decisive but also emotional mother, bringing the audience warm and emotional moments. At 79, Kelly is still charming and continues to be active in the entertainment industry. She recently appeared in The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, 2017 to 2023, a role that continues to affirm her talent and longevity in her career. Kelly is proof that time does not dim the brilliance of talent, and she still maintains a strong presence in the hearts of her fans. Do you remember the elegance of Marjorie in Dirty Dancing or the impressive image of Emily Gilmore in Gilmore Girls? Which of her scenes will you remember forever?
I'll know her when she walks in, and then you walked.
Apparently, I didn't know. I was hoping so, because I loved.
I could never be friends with Emily.
Which, could you? She had her issues. Yes, she did.
But you say...
Because we were kind of taught to be good little girls.
Jack Weston, with his kindly appearance and warm voice, created the image of Max Kellerman, the owner of Kellerman's Resort, where the events of Dirty Dancing took place. Born in Cleveland, Ohio, Jack was 63 years old when he joined the film. His role as Max was a mixture of conservatism and affection for the staff, especially when he reminisced about the old days of the resort. His line about keeping traditions, especially in a changing society, became one of the film's most memorable moments. Before starring in Dirty Dancing, Jack Weston also left his mark in films such as The Four Seasons, 1981, showing his versatile acting ability from comedy to drama. Jack Weston passed away in 1996 at the age of 71 after a long battle with lymphoma. Even though he has passed away, his roles, especially in comedies and dramas, will live on in the hearts of audiences. With his authentic acting style and respect for the profession, Jack left a deep mark on Hollywood cinema, especially in the hearts of those who loved Dirty Dancing. Do you remember Max Kellerman and the old-fashioned values he represented? Which Jack Weston role do you remember forever?
AM Live, Jack appears as Struts in High Road to China. I think you see yourself in a tradition of best friends in movies.
Right. One of the funniest men and a good actor. And he was always in Jack Oakey's league.
You've commented that one thing you're very good at on
Lonnie Price, with his youthful looks and slight arrogance, transformed into Neil Kellerman, Max's son, who was always trying to please his father and seek recognition from the upper class. Born in New York, Lonnie was 28 when he joined Dirty Dancing. Neil is a typical model of a young man with heavy social expectations, creating a clear contrast with Johnny, a character who represents freedom and freedom. Remember the scene where Neil tries to ask Baby to dance while the hidden rivalry between him and Johnny is getting more and more intense? Lonnie Price not only stood out in this role but is also a talented stage director, known for his Broadway musicals. Now 64, Lonnie has stepped away from the screen and focused on his directing career. He has directed many famous musicals, including Lady Day at Emerson's Bar and Grill. Although he rarely returned to acting, his role as Neil Kellerman was a highlight of Lonnie's film career. His talent as a director continued to have a huge impact on the theater industry. Do you find Neil pitiful because of the pressure from his father, or blameworthy because of his rivalry with Johnny? What Lonnie Price moments in Dirty Dancing do you remember? Jane Brecker, with her charm and a bit of haughtiness, transformed into Lisa Houseman, Baby's older sister, who always dreams of glamour and seeks attention. Born in Falls Church, Virginia, Jane was about 29 years old when she participated in Dirty Dancing. The role of Lisa brought laughter through her innocence and adorable moments, especially the awkward but passionate performance of Kula Hannah. Do you remember the scene where Lisa tried to sing to impress, even though it was a bit silly? Jane also participated in other projects such as Stealing Home, 1988, but the role of Lisa is still an unforgettable mark in her career. Now 65 years old, Jane lives a rather private life, rarely participates in acting but is still remembered by the audience through the role of Lisa. Although she no longer appears in public often, she occasionally shares about Dirty Dancing in interviews, expressing pride in the film and the role that created a deep impression in the hearts of the audience. Did you laugh at Lisa's performance or find her adorable in her own way? What Jane Brecker moment in Dirty Dancing stands out to you? Share your memories in the comments. Neil Jones, with his down-to-earth looks and friendly smile, transformed into Billy Kostecki, Johnny's loyal friend, who works at Kellerman's. Born in Wichita, Kansas, Neil was 27 when he starred in Dirty Dancing. Billy's role, though small, still left an impression on the audience with his warmth and sincere friendship, especially when he helped Baby support Penny. Remember the scene where Billy brought watermelon to the dance party when everyone started having fun? That scene clearly showed the humor and friendship in the movie. Neil also participated in other projects such as Jane, 1997, but Billy's role in Dirty Dancing is still the most prominent role of his career. At 63, Neil is still active in the entertainment industry, although he mainly takes on supporting roles. He lives happily, spends time with family and friends, but does not forget to mention Dirty Dancing whenever he has the chance, considering it a beautiful memory in his career. Although he is no longer prominent on screen, Neil is still remembered by the audience as Billy, a trustworthy friend who is always ready to help. Do you see Billy as a trustworthy friend in Dirty Dancing? Which role of Neil Jones in his career will you remember forever? Share your memorable memories in the comments section. It's a journey through the world of Dirty Dancing, the movie that created a legendary summer at Kellerman's. From the passionate dance moves of Johnny and Baby to the family love of the Housemans, the cast brought a timeless story. While some are still going strong, some have passed away, but they all left a lasting impression on the audience. Which character was your favorite? Johnny, Baby, or a supporting role like Lisa? Share your memories in the comments. If this journey brought a smile, give a heart and subscribe for more stories from the golden age of Hollywood. See you soon, and keep the tunes of Dirty Dancing close to your heart. Dear friends, let's go back to the 60s and 70s, when the Brady Bunch echoed in every house with the song, "Here's the Story of a Lovely Lady." The show was not only a sitcom, but also a symbol of childhood and ideal family. Now, let's take a look back at the old cast and their lives in 2025. Let the dear memories take us back to the Brady home of the past. Carol Brady, the model mother with the warm smile, is the heart of the Brady family. Florence Henderson, 35 when she starred in the film, brought Carol charm, intelligence, and love. I still remember her comforting Marcia after a sad day or hosting a family dinner filled with laughter. Have you ever dreamed of having a mother like Carol? Before the Brady Bunch, Florence was a Broadway star in Asterisk, Oklahoma. Asterisk and Fanny. The role of Carol brought her closer to TV audiences and made her an icon of the ideal American mother. She went on to appear in The Love Boat, host the Florence Henderson Show, and joined Dancing with the Stars in 2010 at the age of 76. She has said that Carol reminds her of her own family, chaotic but loving. Florence died of heart failure in 2016 at the age of 82, just days after cheering on Maureen McCormick on Dancing with the Stars. With an estimated net worth of $10 million, she left behind a legacy of affection for millions of viewers. On set, Florence always wore a heart-shaped necklace, a gentle reminder of the value of family. What quotes from Carol do you remember? What other roles did Florence play that moved you? Florence kept a notebook of hilarious behind-the-scenes stories, which she intended to turn into a book, but never finished. Mike Brady, the exemplary father with curly hair and calm eyes, was the father figure of a generation. Robert Reed, 37 when he played the role, brought warmth, wisdom, and responsibility to Mike. I still remember him teaching Greg about honor or gently hugging Bobby after a prank. Did you ever wish you had a father like Mike? Before the Brady Bunch, Robert was famous for The Defenders, 1961 to 1965. Playing Mike was a challenge, because he wanted the show to be more profound, but he still loved the child cast. Robert then starred in Roots, 1977, and Nurse, 1981, both of which were critically acclaimed. His personal life was challenging. Being gay in a time of discrimination, he kept his sexuality private and later battled colon cancer and HIV. Robert passed away in 1992 at the age of 59, leaving behind an estate of about $3 million. He once said that the role of Mike taught him a lot about patience and love for family. Although he has passed away, the image of Mike Brady lives on as a symbol of the ideal father. Do you remember any lessons from Mike? Robert once designed the desk in Mike's office himself to create a more realistic feeling when acting. Alice Nelson, the witty and warm housekeeper, was an indispensable spirit in the Brady family. And B. Davis, 43 years old when she took on the role, turned Alice into a familiar friend in every childhood kitchen. I still remember the scene where she made cookies with Cindy or teased Sam, the clumsy butcher with a passionate heart. Have you ever seen Alice as a funny aunt in the house? Before the Brady Bunch, and was already a bright face with 2 Emmy Awards from The Bob Cummings Show, 1955 to 1959. But it was the role of Alice that brought her closest to the audience's hearts. After the series, she continued to appear in reunion episodes and devoted most of her life to her faith and volunteer work. Unmarried, and chose to live an independent, simple, and meaningful life. And passed away in 2014 at the age of 88 after an unexpected fall at a friend's house. She left behind an estimated $2 million fortune. And once said that Alice was the role closest to who she was, always looking to spread laughter and love. The image of Alice lives on, like the sweet smell of cookies wafting through memories. Do you remember what Alice ate? And once brought an old apron from her home to the set, saying it helped me smell like the Bradys. Marcia, Marcia, Marcia. The eldest sister with blonde hair and a radiant smile was the idol of many girls. Maureen McCormick, who was 13 when she acted, brought Marcia confidence and grace. I remember her worrying about her broken nose or shining on the cheerleading squad. Have you ever wanted to be like Marcia? Back then, Maureen appeared in Barbie commercials. Marcia was a turning point, but also a great deal of pressure. After the Brady Bunch, she starred in The Love Boat, 1977 to 1986, Fantasy Island, 1978 to 1984, and wrote the memoir Here's the Story, 2008, sharing about her battle with cocaine addiction and depression. Maureen married Michael Cummings in 1985, had a daughter, Natalie, and gradually found peace. At 69, Maureen lives a simple life, focusing on her family and art. With a net worth of around $4 million, she still attends fan events. Maureen has said that Marcia taught her about resilience. Do you remember any Marcia moments? Which Maureen McCormick role is your favorite? Maureen keeps a dress Marcia wore and oh, my nose, hanging in her closet as a memento. Greg Brady, the eldest brother with his wavy hair, guitar, and charming smile, was the cool icon of the 70s. Barry Williams, who was only 14 when he played the role, brought Greg confidence and charm that made many young audiences flutter. I still remember the scene where he tried to impress his girlfriend or suffered from teenage love affairs. Have you ever seen yourself in Greg? Before that, Barry had appeared in Mission Impossible, but it was the role of Greg that really brought his name to the public. After the Brady Bunch, Barry continued with the stage such as Grease, The Sound of Music, and released the memoir Growing Up Brady, 1992, revealing many interesting behind-the-scenes stories. He also participated in the Brady Bunch Hour, 1976 to 1977, and many TV shows. Now at the age of 71, Barry still keeps his passion for the profession. From Dancing with the Stars, 2023, to small projects, he has always been close to his fans. He has been married to Tina Mahina since 2017 and has a net worth of about $5 million. Barry once said, "Greg is the greatest gift of my life." Do you remember any of Greg's songs? Barry taught himself to play guitar to act authentically, even though he wasn't required to. Jan Brady, the middle sister who worries about being overshadowed by Marcia, is a character that many viewers can relate to. Eve Plum, who was only 11 when she played the role, brought authenticity and emotion to January. I still remember the scene where Jan wore fake glasses to look more special, or the time she tried to assert herself in a large family. Have you ever seen yourself in Jan? Before the Brady Bunch, Eve had done commercials, but the role of Jan was a turning point in her career. After the series, she made her mark with Dawn, Portrait of a Teenage Runaway, 1976, and Little Women, 1978. Instead of chasing the limelight, Eve chose a private life, married Rick Mansfield in 1995, and pursued her passion for painting. She once said, "Jan taught me to believe in my own worth." Now 67, Eve lives a modest life with a fortune of about $5 million, mainly from acting and painting. She still appears at Brady reunions, always with a bright smile like before. Do you remember which episode made you emotional because of Jan? Eve once painted a portrait of the Brady family and gave it to Florence Henderson as a special birthday present. Peter Brady, the middle son with his clumsy and sincere moments, is a memorable part of the Brady family. Christopher Knight, who was only 11 when he played the role, brought Peter innocence, humor, and a very human quality. I still remember Peter trying to make a deep voice to impress, or fumbling to practice his speech in front of the class. Have you ever seen yourself in that cute awkwardness? Back then, Christopher was a promising face on television. After the Brady Bunch, he continued to appear in the Brady Bunch Hour, 1976 to 1977, and later surprised everyone when he returned in the reality show My Fair Brady, 2005 to 2008, which documented his personal life in a very honest way. Outside of film, he turned to interior design and became successful in the business field. After 3 marriages, Christopher has been happily married to Cara Kokins since 2016. At 68, he has a net worth of around $10 million, largely thanks to his career outside the spotlight. Christopher once shared, "Peter taught me to laugh at my own mistakes." Do you remember Peter's cutest moments? Christopher still keeps the baseball cap Peter used to wear as a sweet memory of his childhood. Cindy Brady, the youngest sister with blonde hair and a chirpy voice, was the joy of the Brady family. Susan Olsen, who was 8 when she starred in the film, made Cindy the epitome of innocence. I remember her telling stories to Alice or wearing her adorable pigtails. Have you ever thought Cindy was too cute? Back then, Susan starred with Elvis Presley in The Trouble with Girls, 1968. Cindy was her turning point, even though her friends teased her for doing tattletale. After the Brady Bunch, she voiced the Brady Kids, 1972 to 1973, and attended reunions. Susan has been through 2 marriages, has a son, and has worked in graphic design. At 64, Susan lives modestly with a net worth of about $2 million. She had a serious accident while filming the pilot when a heavy object fell on her face, but continued to cover up the injury with makeup. Susan still loves the Brady Bunch, saying Cindy was a part of her childhood. Do you remember any of Cindy's quotes? Which Susan Olsen role was your favorite? Susan once wrote a poem about Cindy, which she read at a fan meeting to thank the audience. Bobby Brady, the mischievous youngest brother with a rich imagination, always brought laughter to the Brady family. Mike Lookinland, who was only 9 years old when he played the role, brought Bobby to life with his lovable wit and mischief. I still remember Bobby dreaming of being an astronaut, or the childish games he played with Cindy. Have you ever laughed at Bobby's mischievousness? Mike was a prominent child actor, lending his voice to the Brady Kids, 1972 to 1973, and appearing in The Towering Inferno, 1974. After the spotlight, Mike experienced many challenges, including a period of alcoholism and a 1997 arrest for drunken driving. But he overcame it, successfully recovered, and built a new life. Married to Kelly since 1987, Mike has 2 sons and chose a simple path, becoming a concrete worker and living peacefully in Utah. Now 65, Mike is worth about $2 million. Bobby is the mischievous side of me, a reminder of my childhood filled with laughter, he once said. Do you remember any of Bobby's funny pranks? Mike still has the baseball from the scene playing in the yard, a slice of his childhood he will never forget. Dear friends, this journey with the stars of the Brady Bunch takes us back to the carefree days when TV was our companion. Florence Henderson, Robert Reed, and B. Davis and the Brady kids were a part of our childhood. Although some are gone, their light still shines. I remember Marcia worrying about her date, Bobby playing pranks in the yard. This show taught us about family and forgiveness. Thank you for reminiscing. Let's turn on the Brady Bunch tonight and let their laughter and advice ring out once more. Welcome, old movie lovers. Today, we travel back to 1967 when The Dirty Dozen was released and became a war movie icon. Do you remember the thrill of watching those eccentric soldiers? With names like Lee Marvin, Charles Bronson, and Donald Sutherland, the film is not only about war, but also about comradeship and courage. Many of them are gone, but their memories and legacies live on. Join me as we look back at the lives and the imprints of these legendary characters on screen. Mentioning Lee Marvin is mentioning an irreplaceable icon of Hollywood in the 60s. At the age of 43, he played Major John Reisman in The Dirty Dozen, bringing a strong, sharp, and profound image. Marvin's cold but human eyes made the audience unable to take their eyes off. This role seemed to be tailored for him, a former Marine who fought in World War II, bringing authenticity in every gesture and look. After The Dirty Dozen, Marvin continued to affirm his name with Cat Ballou 1965, the film that helped him win the prestigious Oscar, and The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance 1962, a masterpiece loved by many generations. Throughout the 60s and 70s, the name Lee Marvin was always a meeting place for movie lovers. However, behind the spotlight, his personal life was not without its ups and downs. After his first marriage from 1951 to 1967 to Betty Ebeling, he found love with Pamela Feely in 1970. But Marvin's health gradually declined due to alcoholism and heart problems. He died of a heart attack in 1987 at the age of 63. Do you remember the first time you saw his movies? Share those memories with me.
Follow an animal, right? Did you ever spend any time in? I had a couple of those over at our house the other day. Down in Arizona, really? Yeah. Because of that thing about taking the sheep, or they just do it for what's so-called ward, and then Sarah went out and got these. And there was another.
Next, we have Donald Sutherland, the Canadian with the mischievous smile and mischievous eyes. At the age of 32, he played Vernon Pinkley in The Dirty Dozen, bringing rare laughter amidst the tension of war. Do you remember the scene where Pinkley pretended to be a general? A memorable humorous moment that made the whole team laugh, and so did the audience. This role was like Sutherland's graceful greeting to Hollywood, opening a brilliant journey that lasted more than half a century. From MAS*H*1970, where he played the cunning and intelligent Dr. Hawkeye Pierce, to the cold image of President Snow in The Hunger Games 2012-2015, Sutherland always knew how to make his characters unforgettable. Throughout the 1970s and 1980s, he appeared regularly on both the silver and small screens, becoming a familiar face to audiences around the world. In real life, he was married 3 times, and since 1972, he has been happily married to Francine Rossett. They have 4 children, including Kiefer Sutherland, also a big star. Unfortunately, time does not stand still. Donald Sutherland passed away at the age of 88 in Miami, Florida. His passing is like a sad note in the hearts of his fans. Which of his roles was your favorite? Share it with me.
It was a scene with Peter particularly, because they didn't relate directly to from Katniss's point of view.
This is the film where all your secrets going to be kind of revealed in the next.
And then I hope that the scenes.
Ernest Borgnine is a name that recalls the golden age of Hollywood. At the age of 50, he transformed into General Wardens in The Dirty Dozen, bringing the image of a commander who was both majestic and thoughtful. Remember the tense dialogues between him and Lee Marvin? Those were heavy scenes where conflict and respect coexisted, making the film more dramatic and memorable. Borgnine was a talented actor with a career spanning over 60 years. He made a strong impression as a lonely butcher in Marty 1955, a role that earned him the prestigious Oscar. In the following years, he continued to make his mark through films such as The Wild Bunch 1969, portraying the image of a brave but emotional hero. Throughout the 60s and 70s, Borgnine was a symbol of perseverance and rare talent. In his personal life, he was married to Ethel Langford from 1952 to 1955, and later found a lasting home with Tova Borgnine from 1972. They had a daughter together. In his later years, he struggled with kidney disease and old age. Ernest Borgnine passed away at the age of 95 in Los Angeles, leaving behind an impressive cinematic legacy. I still remember his gentle smile every time he appeared on screen. What about you? Do you have any memories of Borgnine?
I joined the Navy in 1935 after high school, trucked for $3 a week. And of course it was depressing. I saw a sign that says, join the Navy, see the world, you know? So I joined the Navy. And
George Kennedy is a familiar face to those who love cinema in the 70s and 80s. At the age of 42, he played Major Max Armbruster in The Dirty Dozen, a disciplined officer who silently assisted Major Reisman in a special mission. Do you remember the calm and sureness that Kennedy brought in tense scenes? He didn't need to say much, just a look or gesture was enough to convey the weight of the character. In the same year, 1967, Kennedy won an Oscar for his role as Dragline in Cool Hand Luke, proving his outstanding talent. He continued to make his mark through the Airport series and charmingly brought laughter in The Naked Gun, showing his ability to flexibly switch between drama and comedy. In real life, Kennedy went through 3 marriages, and from 1978, he was in a long-term relationship with Joan McCarthy. Together they had 6 children, a large and warm family. George Kennedy died of heart failure at the age of 91 in Middleton, Idaho. His films always remind me of the outdoor movie nights I spent as a child, moonlighting and laughing in the yard. What role do you remember most about him?
This is Sergeant Bilko. Now, how did your involvement as technical advisor?
He brought the project down to Washington, to the Pentagon building, and who became famous later in Vietnam, but General. So they played it, and after it was over...
Jim Brown is a legend not only on screen but also on the field. At the age of 31, he transformed into Robert T. Jefferson in The Dirty Dozen, a brave warrior who overcame racial barriers and prejudice to complete his mission. Do you remember Jefferson's resilience and courage in breathtaking action scenes? This role is not only iconic, but also marked Brown's impressive transition from the stadium to the silver screen. Before conquering Hollywood, Jim Brown was a famous NFL star for the Cleveland Browns, considered one of the greatest athletes in football history. After The Dirty Dozen, he continued to assert himself with films such as 100 Rifles 1969 and Slaughter 1972, becoming one of the pioneers of African-American action films. Beyond his artistic pursuits, Brown also gave back to the community through his organization, American, which helps youth overcome violence and reintegrate into society. He was married to Sue Brown from 1959 to 1972 and had 3 children. Since 1997, he has lived happily with Monique Brown. Jim Brown passed away at the age of 87 in Los Angeles, leaving behind a legacy that is both powerful and humane. What films about him have you remembered most?
Hall of Famer Jim Brown, the running back who retired at the age of 87. A spokeswoman for Brown's family said he passed Monique by his side. One of the greatest players in football, the league's record books in a short career. He appeared in more than 30 films.
Telly Savalas, the man with the deep voice and the unforgettable cool demeanor. At the age of 45, he played Archer J. Mad God in The Dirty Dozen, a mentally disturbed but impressive criminal. Although this character made viewers shudder, Savalas' sharp eyes and powerful performance still left a deep impression. Do you remember his cold but attractive gaze in the tense confrontation scenes? After that role, Savalas rose to television stardom with the role of Detective Kojak in the series Kojak 1973-1978. The image of a bald man sucking a lollipop, calm but intelligent, became a pop culture icon. He also made his mark as the villain Ernst Stavro Blofeld in On Her Majesty's Secret Service 1969, one of James Bond's most formidable enemies. In his personal life, Savalas was married 3 times and since 1984 has been with Julie Hovland, with whom he has raised a family of 6 children. Telly Savalas died of bladder and prostate cancer at the age of 72 in Universal City, California. Every time I hear his deep voice, it brings back the old days of weekend TV nights with my family. Do you like Kojak?
Alles klar, mach's gut. Also, wo waren wir? So, ach ja. Die neuen Hotels der Michigan-Gruppe, der dieses Ding erfunden hat, gehört erschossen.
Hallo?
Ach, dieser Unglücksrabe, der in seiner Hochzeitsnacht verunglückt.
Charles Bronson is an irreplaceable icon of classic action movies. At the age of 46, he played Joseph T. Ladislaw in The Dirty Dozen, a seasoned criminal who spoke little but acted decisively. Do you remember Bronson's breathtaking action scenes? Even without much dialogue, with just a cold gaze and a firm step, he fully expressed the danger and bravery of the character. After that, Bronson rose to legend with Death Wish 1974, where he transformed into a man driven to the end, becoming a symbol of personal justice. Before that, he also made a strong impression with The Magnificent Seven 1960, affirming his position in the ranks of Hollywood's steel faces. His personal life was also marked by many things. He was married 3 times, including to actress Jill Ireland from 1968 until her death in 1990. They had 7 children and together they created a close-knit family amidst the glamour of cinema. Charles Bronson died at the age of 81 in Los Angeles after battling Alzheimer's disease and pneumonia. For me, every time I watch his films, my heart beats as fast as when I was a child, glued to the screen. And you, what is the role that you cannot forget about Bronson?
But to work in the city. You've had a tough life.
This isn't always what makes a life tough. I saw that film.
Yeah, unprivileged tough life. But yours was certainly...
Yeah.
Yeah. Love to know what they are.
Clint Walker, a man with a giant body but a kind heart. At the age of 40, he played Samson Posey in The Dirty Dozen, a quiet, powerful giant who always acted with compassion. Do you remember the image of Posey standing in the middle of the team, towering over the crowd but with warm eyes? This role not only brought touching elements but also showed Walker's characteristics, strong but not fierce, majestic but not cold. Before that, Clint Walker was famous for his role as Cheyenne Bodie in the TV series Cheyenne 1955 to 1963, opening the era of righteous cowboys on the small screen. He continued to make his mark through The Night of the Grizzly 1966, clearly portraying the image of a man who protects his family and honor. In his personal life, Walker has been married 3 times and has found lasting happiness with Susan Cavallari since 1997. He has a daughter and is often referred to as a model father. Clint Walker died of heart failure at the age of 90 in Grass Valley, California. His deep voice, gentle demeanor, and rugged features always remind me of afternoons watching cowboy movies on a black and white TV. Do you like Cheyenne?
A good guy. You know, I'd like to, gives me a great sense of, I get letters from policemen and judges and surgeons.
Trini Lopez is a star with a radiant smile and charismatic style. At the age of 30, he played Pedro Jimenez in The Dirty Dozen, a character who, although he appeared for a short time, left a deep impression. Do you remember the tragic ending of Jimenez, the young soldier who fell while his mission was still unfinished? The short role reflected the bravery and the price of war, making the audience love Trini Lopez even more. However, his greatest aura came from music. With hits like If I Had a Hammer and Lemon Tree, Trini Lopez became a musical icon of the 60s, bringing a cheerful Latin flavor to American pop music. His energetic voice and ever-present smile on stage made him loved by audiences everywhere. Although he never married and had no children, Lopez lived fully for art. Music was his lifelong companion. Trini Lopez passed away at the age of 83 in Palm Springs, California due to complications from COVID-19, leaving a huge void in the hearts of her fans. Every time the melody of If I Had a Hammer plays, I feel like I'm back in the golden age of music. What about you? What's your favorite Trini Lopez song?
Union Title in Dallas, Texas on April. Would you like to say a few words, Trini?
Yes, I definitely. Marilyn Agus is a very, very dear friend of mine that I've known, doing a great job selling my second home here in Dallas.
John Cassavetes was a true artist, always with a rebellious spirit and a passion for creativity. At the age of 37, he played Victor R. Franco in The Dirty Dozen, a stubborn criminal who constantly challenged the authority of his superiors. Remember the tense exchanges between Franco and Major Reisman? Cassavetes brought a fierce personality to the character, making viewers both angry and attracted by the complexity and authenticity. However, Cassavetes' true aura was behind the lens. He was one of Hollywood's first independent directors, pioneering a realistic and emotional film style. A Woman Under the Influence 1974 is one of his outstanding works, deeply exploring human psychology, especially family relationships and trauma. Cassavetes, who was married to actress Gina Rowlands from 1954 until his death, had 3 children, all of whom pursued film careers, continuing his legacy. John Cassavetes passed away from cirrhosis at the age of 59 in Los Angeles, leaving a huge void in the hearts of those who love independent and committed cinema. Every time I watch his films, I feel like I am turning over the deepest slices of life. Do you like Cassavetes' straightforward and emotional filmmaking style?
Who the hell is that?
Welcome to a journey back to The Cosby Show, the show that brought laughter, warmth, and life lessons to millions of families around the world. More than 40 years ago, the Huxtable family entered our hearts as a beacon of love and hope. Today, in 2025, we explore what happened to that beloved cast, not just the highs and lows, but how they found light amid the darkness. For those who have lived through many springs of life, their stories are a reminder that every chapter is worth celebrating. Bill Cosby, the name that rang out like a cheerful melody in every house in the 80s. As Dr. Cliff Huxtable, he was the father of all fathers, always ready with a joke and a warm hug. At 47 when the show began, he had built an empire of fame, with assets that once reached the $400 million mark. But life, like the autumn wind, can change direction unexpectedly. Now, at 87, Bill lives in silence, his eyes fading away from the spotlight, his health waning with the years. Scandals have swept away the halo, leaving a man who was once an icon now huddled in a large house with his wife of 60 years, Camille. His remaining assets are about $100 million, but money is now just a number. He once said, in a rare moment, "I miss the days when the kids ran around the house, their laughter drowning out the TV." For Bill, old age is not the end, but a book that has closed its noisy pages, leaving behind a few lines of peace and nostalgia. Do you remember Cliff? That man is still somewhere, in our memories, still wearing the same worn sweater and smiling. Felicia Rashad, the muse of The Cosby Show, who transformed Claire Huxtable with all the elegance and strength. At 36, when she stepped into the role of a mother of 5, she was the epitome of a modern woman, both gentle and sharp. Now, at 76, Felicia retains that glow, though life has added a few wrinkles and invisible scars. 3 failed marriages, including a famous one with Ahmad Rashad, have left her with a daughter and a void. But Felicia is not broken. She continues on stage, in poignant roles, and in the classroom, where she inspires younger generations. She doesn't talk about her $25 million fortune. Instead, she talks about her favorite books, her afternoons making tea, and the joy of being true to herself. Life is a dance, she once shared, and I'm still learning the last steps. For older audiences, Felicia is a beacon, proving that true beauty lies not in age, but in how you keep the fire in your heart. Sabrina Lubov, the eldest daughter of the Huxtables, Sandra, who always makes us laugh with her big dreams and stubbornness. At 26, she was a bright star, fresh out of Yale and full of ambition. But then, Hollywood has a way of bringing people down, doesn't it? Sabrina has stopped chasing the limelight. At 67, she says, "Thanks, I'm done with the same old stuff." Instead, she finds joy in interior design, turning empty rooms into living stories. Her net worth of $1.5 million isn't much, but it's enough to keep her comfortable in Northern California, where she built her own house. Sabrina is now a storyteller of color and furniture, occasionally teaching design classes and laughing when she remembers the days when Cliff teased her on screen. To us, she's a reminder, you don't need the world to know your name, you just need to know who you are. Would you like to stop by Sabrina's house? There will be tea and a good story. Lisa Bonet, the free spirit named Denise Huxtable, entered The Cosby Show at the age of 17 with bright eyes and an unconstrained heart. She was the little flame in the strict Huxtable family, always finding her own way among the rules. With her braided hair, bright smile, and unique style, Lisa turned Denise into a symbol of gentle rebellion, a free spirit that no one could tie down. The audience loved her for her free-spirited beauty and the fresh breath she brought to the screen. At 57, Lisa is still that wind, but gentler and deeper. Time softens the edges, leaving behind an experienced soul. 2 broken marriages, with Lenny Kravitz, a talented rocker, and Jason Momoa, a wild man like the sea, like waves breaking on rocks, leaving behind 3 children, Zoe, Lola, Nakoa Wolf, and a broken heart. But Lisa did not fall, she stood up strong, like a tree through a storm. Her health was not what it used to be, but she found peace in Topanga Canyon, where the trees whispered and the sun healed. Her fortune of $5 million was not something she counted. Wealth for her was days spent by the stream, teaching her children about freedom. "Life is a bird," she said, "don't put it in a cage." For older audiences, Lisa was proof that age does not imprison the soul. As long as you dare to fly, you will be free in the sky, no matter how dark the clouds are. Keisha Knight Pulliam, Little Rudy, the princess of the Huxtable family on The Cosby Show, entered the hearts of audiences at the age of 5. With her bright smile and mischievous wink, Keisha lit up the screen, bringing joy to every episode. She was the precious gem of the Huxtable family, an innocent soul that everyone loved. Now, at the age of 45, Keisha is no longer the little girl she used to be. She has become a mother, a wife, living peacefully in Georgia with an estimated fortune of $6 million, the result of years of hard work in the spotlight. But Keisha's life has not always been full of roses. She has faced storms, a broken marriage, days of worry and insecurity. However, like a ray of sunshine piercing through the dark clouds, Keisha found a new home with her second husband, Brad James, and her daughter Ella Grace, her greatest source of happiness. "I grew up on the set," she once confided, "but I grew up in love and responsibility." In real life, Keisha is also a warm-hearted person, actively doing charity work, supporting those in need, just like the way Rudy once extended his hand to his brothers and sisters in the film. To the audience, she will always be a little ray of sunshine, a gentle reminder that no matter how time passes, we can still keep in our hearts the innocence of childhood. Jeffrey Owens, the goofy Elvin on The Cosby Show, who once made audiences laugh with his silly antics and lovable clumsy acting. At the age of 24 when he joined the show, he was like a rough diamond, bringing freshness and innocent laughter to the Huxtable family. Jeffrey's Elvin was an indispensable piece, a clumsy but well-intentioned son-in-law, making viewers both love and laugh. But real life, as he himself admitted, is never like the script. Now, at the age of 64, Jeffrey has gone through ups and downs that few expected. One day, a photo of him working at Trader Joe's supermarket was secretly taken and spread, a punch to the pride of a man who once stood in the limelight. But instead of falling, Jeffrey stood up, smiled broadly and declared, "I'm still Elvin, it's just that no one calls me that anymore." Living in New Jersey with his wife and son, with a modest net worth of $300,000, Jeffrey keeps moving forward. He teaches acting, teaches the younger generation, and still auditions every chance he gets. "Life is a play," he says, "and I'm still learning my lines." For us, Jeffrey is a fellow traveler, a living lesson that no matter how many times you fall, if you just get up, laugh, and keep going, you're still yourself, goofy, lovable, and invincible, just like Elvin. Erica Alexander, cousin Pam, the latecomer to The Cosby Show, breathes life into the Huxtable family with a fresh, streetwise edge. At 21 when she joined, she was a breath of fresh air, a mix of strength and warmth that captivated audiences. Erica's Pam is a unique piece, both rebellious and approachable, a smoldering flame amid traditional values. Now, at 55, Erica sings her own blues in Los Angeles. Her broken marriage and days of sadness have tested her, but she has not broken down. Still acting in small roles, teaching to inspire, she lives with passion despite her modest fortune of $1.8 million, enough for a free spirit. "Life is a song," she says, her voice deep and warm. "Sometimes it's sad, but you have to keep singing." Erica is the embodiment of resilience, a voice that echoes for those who refuse to give up. To us, she is a gentle melody in the dark, a reminder that no matter how dark life may seem, there is always light to keep going. Raven-Symoné, the super naughty Olivia on The Cosby Show, is only 3 years old and has melted the hearts of audiences with her incomparable cuteness and mischief. With her big round eyes, bright smile, and innocent sayings, Raven's Olivia is the brightest little gem in the Huxtable family, bringing endless joy. Now, at the age of 39, Raven-Symoné has grown up into a multi-talented star, singer, actress, producer, you name it, she can do it all. Living in Los Angeles, she owns a fortune of $6 million, although she lost a lot of it due to her chaotic youth and rash decisions. Along with her wife Miranda Piermont Mayday, Raven keeps her private life private, although sometimes they have to face distance. "I'm Olivia grown up," she laughs, still naughty, but much wiser. Raven is not only a childhood memory, but also a breath of fresh air and inspiration. To us, she proves that youth is more than just a number. It is a fire that burns forever in the soul, the courage to be true to yourself, regardless of the passing of time. Malcolm Jamal Warner, the awkward Theo on The Cosby Show, was only 14 when he entered the audience's life with his innocence and lovable clumsiness. As the eldest son of the Huxtables, Malcolm's Theo brought laughter and life lessons through each episode. Now, at 54, he has grown into a multi-talented man, immersed in music and love for family. Living in Los Angeles, Malcolm owns a fortune of $4 million, but his true wealth lies in the notes he plays on his bass, a sound that soothes sadness, especially after losing his lover Michelle Thomas, a deep wound in his heart. He keeps his private life, especially his young daughter with wife Regina King, private like a way to protect a precious treasure. "Life is a test," he once said, his voice deep and thoughtful, "and I'm still finding the answer every day." To us, Malcolm is not just Theo, but a companion, a reminder that every day is worth trying, that whether clumsy or perfect, life is still a journey worth living and loving in its own way. Tempest Bledsoe, the spunky Vanessa on The Cosby Show, was just 11 when she burst onto the scene with her wit and constant barbs. Tempest's Vanessa was a spunky little girl who brought laughter and memorable moments to the Huxtable household. Now, at 51, Tempest is a quiet woman, living peacefully in Los Angeles with her longtime partner, Daryl M. Bell. With a net worth of $6 million, she has chosen to step out of the spotlight, finding joy in yoga and family, rather than chasing the Hollywood spotlight. "I used to want to grow up fast," she shares with a slight smile, "but now I just want to slow down and enjoy every moment." Tempest is no longer the noisy little Vanessa of the past, but a gentle rain, not noisy or ostentatious, but deep enough to cool the soul of anyone who has ever loved her. To the audience, she is a gentle reminder that happiness sometimes lies in peace, in the simple things that we often overlook in the hustle and bustle of life. As we wrap up our look back at The Cosby Show, we not only remember the laughter and warmth of the Huxtable family, but also appreciate the cast's journey through ups and downs. In 2025, they are still shining, a testament to resilience and hope. The show's legacy will forever be a beacon, reminding us to cherish every chapter of our lives. Which character was your favorite? Share your